Okay, now let's have a summary of what we have done for today. We talked about Samadhi and Satipaṭṭhāna, the Four Noble Truths, and we compared the Satipaṭṭhāna contents in the 7 major texts. For Samadhi and Satipaṭṭhāna, Kaya-Kata-Sati states that all the 14 exercises in Kaya-Nupassana together with the 4 jhanas lead to Samadhi. This contrasts with the Vipassana refrain that follows each exercise in Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta, which is a Vipassana refrain. Extracts from Janavasabha Sutta and Chula Vedala Sutta confirm that the 4 Satipaṭṭhānas lead to Samadhi. As in Chula Vedala Sutta, it says that the basis or the cause for Samadhi is the 4 Satipaṭṭhāna. Samadhi Bhavana Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 4.41, which I just showed just now, shows that there are 4 types of Samadhi. Vitakka Santana Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 20 in your appendix, shows that all the 5 methods of stilling distracting thoughts also lead to Samadhi. But of course, there's a different level of Samadhi. In light of these instances, to translate Samadhi as concentration or one-pointedness of mind may be misleading. Thus, the preferred translation for Samadhi is composure or focused state of mind. Focus in the sense of having your attention directed to what you want to do. The Visuddhimagga's definition of worldly jhana as absorption in a conceptual object, oblivious of the 5 senses, contradicts the descriptions of jhanas in the suttas, where the 5 senses, especially the body, have not been transcended. The Visuddhimagga jhana is based on a conceptual object, but the sutta jhana is defined according to mental state, not object of focus. Like I pointed out just now, there are many descriptions of the jhana found in many suttas, and none of them ever said what the object of focus was. Then there are times when it's very interesting. I'm still doing research on this. I found out that, when the Buddha talks about development of metta, then he will say, then the bhikkhu develops metta, and he attains a samadhi that is together with vitakka and vichara. He attains a samadhi that has vitakka without vichara, and he attains a samadhi with piti. He attains a samadhi with sukha, without piti, and so forth. But he never used the word jhana, for these Brahma Viharas. And then when he talks about the development of Satipaṭṭhāna in Satipaṭṭhāna Samyutta, there are 1 or 2 occurrences where he talks about developing the Satipaṭṭhāna without vitakka and vichara. And at least 1 sutta where he talks about the different types of samadhi that you can achieve with vitakka, without vitakka, with piti, and so forth, by the development of the 4 Satipaṭṭhānas. But he didn't use the word jhana. We talk about the 4 Noble Truths, and we saw that suffering, or the first Noble Truth, is to be fully known or experienced and known, understood, by developing the 4th Noble Truth, which is the Noble Eightfold Path. Remember I said that suffering is not to be avoided, not to be pushed away, but to be confronted and fully understood. Easier said than done. When people get into trouble, they always like to forget it and turn away and distract their mind from their suffering. Don't want to understand the suffering because it's so unbearable. And it's not easy, of course, to confront suffering and totally understand it. So the way to do it is to develop the 4th Noble Truth, which is the Noble Eightfold Path. Then only you can confront and understand suffering, rather than run away from it. Fully knowing the first Noble Truth entails discovering its cause, which is craving, and the second Noble Truth, and simultaneously abandoning it. When you totally and fully experience and understand suffering, you will know its culprit, which is craving, the cause behind it. And the moment you realize, that craving is the cause of suffering, you drop it and you will realize cessation. With the abandoning of craving, the cessation of suffering is realized. Developing the Noble Eightfold Path is often portrayed as a linear process in the suttas, But in reality, it is more complex, involving multiple feedback loops like I show in my diagram. In a comparison of Satipaṭṭhāna contents, we saw that the variations in the 7 major texts are very obvious in Kayanupassana and Dhammanupassana. The rule of thumb is to regard the common elements as the more authentic. Comparison with the 7 major texts is only one of the criteria for Ajahn Sujato to make his reconstruction of what the original or Mula Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta could have been like. That's all for today's session.